2 days after that big seizure that frightened the hell out of me, Paddy is now back to eating his regular food, but as you can see, it's next to the platform. Down there is his chamomile. No, what you see there is a ladder, just a piece of stick leading to a platform which has his millet, just in case. And because if I don't keep his interest up, then the same thing will happen as after Cody died. He will lose interest in life and give up, and that is not what I want him to do. So even though your birds may experience seizures, yes, cannot deny that it might not kill them, but chances are it won't. And they can go on and live quite happily for many years. I mean, there are animals that experience this from a very, very young age due to any sort of trauma. It just happened to Paddy when he was older, which makes things difficult. One thing I need to explain, it's not that Paddy will not come on my hand. Quite the opposite. If he finds himself in any situation, he will come running to me, he will call for me. But it's all centered around his cage. After Cody died, he was very reluctant to leave his cage. So if you see these videos where I keep showing him up there and looking out the window, that is brilliant, because he wasn't even leaving his cage, let alone coming towards me. When I had the opportunity to pick him up was when he had a fright or something and fell. Remember, this animal was used to being surrounded by a menagerie. And he just happens to be the last one left. It was never going to be easy for him to cope or adapt. It's not easy for me. That at 53 I feel I am too old to adopt any more animals, because they very likely could outlive me. And if it's hard for me, it must be terrible for him. His friends are all gone. But I do have to keep his interest going, so despite getting really upset the other day and saying I'm just going to give him all food he wants and I'm not going to bother with training anymore, I have to continue. I mean, I don't mean strictly. This animal is not going to go and perform in any magic shows like some other parrots are trained to do. I just want him to remain interested and enjoying life. And I have to keep the interaction up because I'm the last he has left. That is his veggie mix. So yesterday he would eat nothing but millet. Today he's eating his veggie mix. Yeah, sure, he's had a bit of millet treats, but he's actually eating his proper food. Sorry for the quality of the video. I just don't want to get too close because um, he really is still not used to the camera, and last thing I want to do is induce a stress reaction. But um, it is now, what, about 6 p.m. and it took a while for him to get over the last seizure, and I really don't want to induce another one. But as you can see, he seems fairly content. He's eating. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure this bird must have been a cat in a past life, because the number of times I have thought that was the end for him, and he's come back. And I'm so grateful for it. Believe me, it wasn't always like this. When we first got Paddy, he came from a rescue home where he had been housed with larger parrots. I'm not quite sure of the details, but apparently they were all in a relatively small cage, and he was the smallest of the lot. He is missing most nails, he's missing parts of toes, he's got a huge bald patch behind his crest from where he had a nasty attack and scar. He also has a scar down one eye, which may or may not have affected his eyesight. I suspect it has. But it has not stopped him. When he was considered unhomeable, because when they got him, he was extremely aggressive to other birds, and I mean extremely. And you can't really blame him. I mean, he as far as he knew, he was dealing with large parrots all the time. He had to defend himself. I decided to bring him home. At the time, I only had Cody, my baby, the one I had to hand rear with only one leg. Now, Cody was a very strong, independent individual, but by no means aggressive. And he had his partner at the time, was one of my first rescue birds after him, and they were fairly content. Then along comes this bugger and decides to attack everyone and try to make himself boss. I wasn't sure we would be able to keep him after seeing that reaction. But interestingly enough, because Cody only had one leg, every time Cody decided, oh God, you're bugging me, and got out of the way, and Paddy tried to grab him to assert his dominance, he was left totally confused by the fact that there was no leg. He was expecting a leg to grab hold of, and he could not find it. Eventually, I think this caused Paddy to think that Cody was some kind of miracle god, and decided to and respected him. So he went from being aggressive and dominant to being submissive and acceptant of Cody. And that was the only way we could keep him. Nothing to do with anything I did. This was all Cody's doing, and his behavior and how he was. He is now settling down to sleep. Are you, Paddy? Or are you still going to eat some more? See, that's what I like to see. When he's eating his proper food and not stressing and just wanting millet or nuts and won't touch anything else. He still hasn't gone on those perches though, so he is still a bit scared. Those are the perches. He hasn't gone on those. But for now, that will do. Hopefully, I might be able to get him to feel confident enough to actually leave the safety of his cage area, hence this platform thing, because if he actually just gets out on his own, then I can clean that bloody cage. But I can't risk doing it any other way. Paddy, you enjoying your dinner? So yes, if your birds are having seizures or start having seizures, don't just give up on them. It's really not the end of the world. Not pleasant to look at. Not pleasant for them. Certainly not for you. But it will not mean that they will die on you. And with observation about what is causing the stress reaction, a lot can be limited. I would dearly love to have another companion for Paddy, but that would just mean putting another bird in the same situation he is now, being the last. So we're just going to have to make the most of it, aren't we, Paddy? Yes, little sweetie. You know, for once, why don't you just whistle and show people that you do something other than eat, panic and shriek? Not happening, is it? Not happening, is it, Paddy? No, he's just relaxing now. He's stuffed. That is his favourite sleeping spot. So, oh no, back to food. Oh, this means so much to me when I see him eating his proper food. Yes, a good boy. So anyway, if your bird does suffer the seizures, you know, they do come back. Problem is that they can be a bit scared for a while. I mean, wouldn't you if it happened? But he is now, as you've seen, he is actually coming out of his cage, which is more than what he was doing. He's wandering around. He's been checking out that plank of wood that I've put there to get him to move out for a while, you know, out of the safety zone of his cage. And all this I have to do without causing him stress in any way. So I will leave you with Paddy eating his multi-veg mix with homemade equivalent of, like, you know, essential vitamins and minerals and stuff, and some rice and quinoa, barley, and other ingredients. But he's eating it and he likes it. You had enough now, darling? Time for bed? You're just settling down now. You don't care about any whistles I do. Yeah, you will in a bit. More food. Just goes to show how little he actually ate yesterday. Or while he was still super stressed. Which was why I just gave him what he wanted to eat. Because didn't really want him. You don't really want them going hungry. Especially after a traumatization like that one. Okay, baby, are you going to say goodbye to the people? Or are you just going to leave them with a dirty beak? Huh? Dirty beak it is then. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.